Chosen one, God said move, and he means it specifically for you, not for the person sitting next to you, not for the abstract viewer of some channel, for you. This message did not appear before your eyes by accident or by algorithm. You were directed here. The same hand that has been guiding your steps through every season, the hard ones, the confusing ones, the ones that almost broke you before they built you, that same hand brought you to this word at this moment for a reason that is about to become clear. Let me tell you what I see. I see someone who has been faithful in a season that has already concluded. Someone loyal to a place, a person, a version of themselves, and that loyalty has been beautiful, and God has honored it. But the season has sealed itself. It is complete, and you have been staying inside a completed chapter, reading the same pages, wondering why the story is not moving forward. It is not moving because you have not turned the page. Right now, in this moment, place your hand over your chest. There is either a weight there you have been carrying for months, or a warmth, or a restlessness that has no name. Whatever you feel is the physical confirmation of what heaven has already decided. The Father looked at the full sum of your faithfulness. He weighed it. He measured every quiet act of obedience, every night you held on when letting go would have been easier, every moment you chose trust when the evidence had run out. And he declared, enough preparation. It is time to move. By the time this message is over, you are going to understand exactly why God is saying this now, what this movement looks like in your actual life, and what he has already prepared in the place he is sending you. You have been waiting for permission. This is it. Something has been happening inside you for longer than you have allowed yourself to name it. A series of signals so quiet, so consistent, so woven into the texture of your daily life that you began to believe they were simply normal. They are not normal. They are the language of a season concluding. And if you will let me, I want to name them for you right now, because what has felt like personal struggle is actually divine communication, and you deserve to hear it translated. There is a particular kind of exhaustion that has nothing to do with how much you slept last night. It lives in the bones. It is not the tiredness of hard work, which carries its own kind of satisfaction. This is the tiredness of effort without alignment, of pouring energy into a structure that no longer holds what it once held. You wake up, and before the day has even started, something in your body already knows it will be the same. The same conversations, the same obligations, the same motion of dragging yourself through a life that somehow stopped feeling like yours. That bone-deep weariness is not weakness. It is not spiritual failure. It is a signal. Your physical form has been communicating what your mind has not yet been willing to accept. You are not tired from doing too much. You are tired from staying too long in a place that no longer holds you. And alongside that tiredness, there is a shift in what you can tolerate. People and environments that once felt comfortable have begun to feel draining in ways you cannot fully explain. You sit in rooms where you used to feel at ease, and something in your chest tightens without warning. Conversations that used to flow now take effort. You find yourself needing more quiet, more space, more solitude, not because you have become antisocial, but because the frequency of where you are no longer matches the frequency of where you are becoming. What you have been calling sensitivity is actually discernment. Your spirit is preparing you for a different environment by making this one feel increasingly incompatible with who you are. There is also a hollowness in the things that used to give you meaning. Routines and practices that once anchored you now feel like motions you go through out of habit. Hobbies that used to restore you have gone quiet inside. Even spiritual practices, the ones that once felt alive and immediate, have begun to feel more like recitation than genuine encounter. This is not spiritual decay. It is the natural dying of an old container before a new one is built. Something in you is outgrowing the structures that held you through the last season, and the hollowness you feel where meaning used to live is not emptiness. It is space. Intentional space being made ready for what is coming. And then there are the signs you cannot explain, the numbers that appear at specific moments across completely unrelated parts of your day. The phrase that surfaces in a song, in a conversation, in something you happen to read 3 times in a single afternoon, with no visible thread connecting those sources. The dreams that arrive with a coherence and a weight your waking hours struggle to match. These are not coincidences, and they are not an undisciplined imagination. They are the language of the unseen speaking through the visible. When God is repositioning a chosen one from one season to the next, the whole of creation around them begins to carry a message that the chosen one has not yet found words for. The signs do not all point to the same location, but they all point in the same direction. And perhaps the most unmistakable signal of all is the timing. The moment the right person appears at the right place with exactly the right word, with a precision that could not have been arranged by any human hand. The conversation that opens a door you did not know was there. The encounter that happens when you had the least logical reason to be in that location on that particular day. These appointments are not arranged by circumstance. They are arranged by a hand that has been orchestrating the movements of your life with more care and more intelligence than any map you could have drawn for yourself. And every single one of them, every sign, every unexpected encounter, every restless waking in the night, has been pointing in the same direction. Move. Not eventually, not when the conditions feel perfect, not when enough people understand what you are doing. Now, in this season, at this moment, the appointed time is not a date on a future calendar you have not yet reached. It is already here. It is the ground beneath your feet in this very second. What you have been walking through, this long and often painful in between, is something that every chosen one who has ever been called to move has walked through before you. In Hebrew, it is called the midbar, the wilderness. And God leads his chosen ones there not as punishment, but as the most deliberate act of preparation in the divine playbook. It has a specific purpose, and that purpose is producing in you something that cannot be manufactured anywhere else. Consider what the wilderness actually produces in a human being. It produces the end of self-sufficiency. You enter the wilderness trusting your own map, your own resources, your own ability to navigate by what you can see. And the wilderness dismantles all of that, not to destroy you, but to rebuild you from a different foundation. Because a person who crosses ground where no human rescue was available carries something that the comfortable cannot access. An internal compass calibrated not by certainty, but by daily faith. A knowledge of their own endurance that only comes from having stood in a place where standing cost something real. A relationship with the Father that is not theological concept, but lived and tested encounter. The wilderness does not produce information. It produces the kind of knowing that changes how you move through the world forever. The wilderness also produces character that cannot be manufactured in ease or accelerated by shortcuts. The patience that forms in a person who has waited without bitterness longer than anyone thought possible. Not performed patience, but the structural patience of someone who has learned that God does not arrive on your schedule and has made peace with that. The humility that lives not in spiritual language, but in the quiet posture of someone who knows they do not have all the answers and is no longer afraid of that. And the trust that is not theology but practice, a daily choosing of alignment when the evidence has not confirmed the direction. These qualities are forged, and you have been in the forge, and some of what you lost in this season deserves to be named as what it actually was. The people who exited, the relationships that ended or cooled, the connections that could not make the crossing with you, these were not failures, they were clearings. God does not leave a chosen one without necessary company, but he does remove what cannot carry the frequency of where they are going. The people who left were not your permanent tribe, and the loneliness their absence created, though real and though painful, is not the final word. On the other side of this move are people who speak the language of your next season. They are being prepared right now, in their own parallel wilderness, learning their own parallel lessons. And when you arrive, you will recognize each other the way people who have both crossed hard ground recognize each other without needing an introduction. There is something I want to share with you before we go further, and I want to name it clearly so that it does not feel like something that appears unexpectedly at the end. There is a discovery made by a small group of neuroscientists working with a doctor in New York City about what actually happens inside the human mind during long seasons of stagnation and confinement, about what gets suppressed when a person has been held in the wrong environment for too long, and what becomes possible when that suppression is reversed, not just through spiritual practice and not through willpower alone, but at the level of the brain itself, in a way that is measurable, documented, and confirmed by research that was awarded the Nobel Prize. I will tell you exactly what they found before this message ends, because what God is asking you to step into, the movement he is commanding, requires the full capacity of the mind he built in you. And part of what this season took from you was access to that capacity. The link to what they discovered is in the description and in the pinned comment below this video for when the time comes. But there is more the Father needs to say first. Stay with me. What God is building in the place he is sending you is not a replica of what you had before. This is not a return. This is not a restoration of the old arrangement with minor improvements. This is a new construction, built on the foundation of who you became in the wilderness, designed for the calling you are only now large enough to carry. And it touches 3 areas of your life at the same time, because God does not compartmentalize the way we do. When he moves a chosen one, he moves them whole. The first area is your relationships. For those entering this season of movement, the social architecture of your life is being reorganized. People you thought would be with you indefinitely have already begun to exit, or will. It will hurt. You will question whether you caused it. You did not. Some relationships are written for a chapter, not a lifetime. What you must not do is spend your energy trying to hold what is already over. That energy belongs to your forward momentum. And here is what the Father wants you to hold when the loneliness of those exits is loudest, and just when you believe you are the most alone you have ever been. People who speak the language of your next season will begin to appear, not the language of your past, the language of who you are becoming. The second area is your purpose. What God is doing in this transition is not replacing your calling. He is expanding your access to the one he placed in you before you were born. In the new place, the work you were designed for will find more room, more people who need exactly what you carry. The assignments that felt too small, the rooms where you had to compress yourself, those were not the full picture. What is coming requires more of you, not less. And this is precisely why the preparation mattered. You had to become equal to the work before the work in its fullness could be placed in your hands. You are equal to it now. The third area is provision. When the return does not match the effort, when you work with everything you have and receive less than the work deserves, the instinct is to work harder in the same place. But sometimes the problem is not the output, it is the location. God does not remove provision to punish a chosen one. He redirects it. The well that has been feeling dry is not empty. It has been rerouted to your next place. And the provision waiting there is not proportionate to what you had before the wilderness. It is proportionate to who you became inside it. What is ahead is not just enough. It is more than you have asked for in this season, because the person asking is larger now than they were when they entered. But here is the part that no honest message about movement can skip. Even when everything in you knows the move is necessary, even when the signs have been unmistakable, even when the restlessness has become a daily companion, something in the human architecture resists. Something clings to what it knows, not from weakness, not from faithlessness, from the deep ancient architecture of a mind designed to protect you from loss. The tension between what you feel called toward and what you feel safe inside is one of the most consistent experiences of the chosen one in transition. You feel the pull forward, real and undeniable. But the pull coexists with a weight that keeps your feet where they are. The fear that in moving, you will lose what you have. What if the new thing is not as good as you imagine? What if you step forward and find nothing? What if the call you have been following is your own wishful thinking dressed in spiritual language? These questions are not faithlessness. They are the voice of a mind trying to protect you. But they are answering the wrong question. The question is not, what if moving costs me something? The question is, what is staying already costing me? Because staying is not neutral. Every day spent in a completed season is a day of quiet, compounding loss. The idea that does not get pursued, the gift that does not get developed, the relationship that does not form, the version of yourself that does not emerge because the space around you cannot call it out of you. Staying does not preserve what you have. It delays what was meant to arrive. God is not asking you to be reckless. He is asking you to be honest. God knows this tension. He has seen it before. The most important story about divine movement in all of Scripture is the account of a man commanded to lead a people out of a place they knew into a place they had never seen, and who watched how fiercely the human mind prefers the suffering it knows over the promise it cannot yet touch. Moses. Not the Moses of the burning bush moment, when the calling was fresh and overwhelming and undeniably clear, but the Moses of the long years of leading, the Moses who stood repeatedly with a people at the edge of what God had promised and watched them choose the wilderness again, rather than cross into the unknown. God kept saying the same thing across those years. Move, advance, go up, take possession of what I have given you. And the people kept offering the same response. The land ahead looks too difficult. The obstacles look too large. We were more familiar with the suffering we knew than with the promise we could not yet see. And so they stayed. And every time they chose the edge over the crossing, they lost another season in the wilderness, not as punishment from a vindictive God, as consequence from a creation that operates on the principle that forward movement and divine blessing are aligned. The geography of your stagnation is not your enemy, but it was never your destination. Here is what is most important about the language God actually used when he commanded Israel to break camp and advance. In the original Hebrew, the word translated as move or advance was nasa. And nasa does not simply mean to step forward. Nasa means to pull up tent stakes, to completely dismantle the structure you have built in this place, so thoroughly that there is nothing left to return to. The language of divine movement is not a call to walk forward while leaving your tent standing as a fallback option. It is a call to take the tent down entirely, to carry what is portable and release what was never meant to be permanent, because the tent built in the wilderness was always shelter and never a house. God always knew that, and now he is inviting you to know it too. The eagle does not argue with the thermal. When the invisible current of warm air rises from the valley floor, the eagle does not calculate the risk of leaving the branch it has been resting on. It does not measure the distance between where it is and where the current will carry it. It spreads its wings and catches the current, and the current does the work. The eagle soars not by effort but by alignment, By trusting an invisible force it cannot see with its eyes, but can feel with certainty beneath its wings. God has sent a thermal for this season of your life. The current is already rising. The invitation is not to flap harder, not to manufacture momentum through sheer force of will. It is to spread your wings. It is to trust the wind that has already been commissioned for this precise moment in your life, and to release the branch. Before I show you what this release looks like, I need to tell you one more thing. There is a moment arriving in this message that I want you to be prepared for. Everything you have heard about the recognition signs, about formation in the wilderness, about what God is building in the next place, it all converges on a single truth. And that truth has two parts. The first part is this: you have been more affected by this season than you realize, not just spiritually and not just emotionally. At the level of your own mind, your own cognition, your access to the gifts and the creative intelligence and the clarity that God built into you before you were born. And the second part of that truth is what I am about to show you. When you hear it, you will understand why this message was specifically directed to you today. Let me ground what you have heard before we continue. You are in a completed season asking for your departure. The signals, the exhaustion, the hollowness, the changed tolerances, they are not a problem to be solved. They are a transition in progress. The formation in the wilderness, the character, the endurance, the cleared relationships. It was real preparation for a real move. And the person being called to make that move is you, exactly as you are right now, with everything the wilderness built into you. That is the why and the what and the who. And what I want to show you next is what makes the move possible at full capacity. Before we go to who you are, the Father needs to speak something over you, because movement without identity is only relocation. And God is not simply moving you from one set of circumstances to another. He is moving you as a specific, designated, irreplaceable person with a function in this world that no one else can fill. You are a cycle breaker. That is not encouragement language. It is a designation with weight in your family line, in your community, in the generational stream you were born into. There are patterns that arrived before you, patterns of limitation, of struggle, of dreams deferred and potential suppressed. Those patterns will not survive contact with who you are becoming. The cycles that looked permanent will break at your presence. Not because you are powerful in the way the world measures power, but because you carry something the cycle has never encountered before. A willingness to move when the familiar says stay. An obedience that outlasted the confusion. And the reason this season felt so resistant is partly because cycles do not release their participants without pressure. But when a chosen one responds to a divine command, the hold breaks. You are a truth carrier. There are things you see that others around you miss. Clarity that arrives in you while the room is still confused. Understanding that surfaces in you before the evidence fully assembles. That is not arrogance. That is function. The truth carrier does not speak everything they perceive, but they hold it, and the holding changes the atmosphere of the space they occupy. You have spent years wondering why you could not simply accept the surface version of things. The answer is that you were made for depth, and depth requires a different geography than the one you have been standing in. You are a wounded healer. The pain of this season, the things that cracked in the wilderness, the losses that did not have names for a long time, they are not the end of your story. They are the beginning of your medicine. What you have walked through is exactly what someone else is walking through right now, in a room you have not yet entered, waiting for someone who understands from the inside rather than from theory. Your healing was never only for you. It was always meant to become something you hand to another person standing where you once stood. And you are allowed to leave without apologizing for leaving. You are allowed to outgrow the space you have been in without making yourself smaller to ease the discomfort of those who preferred the previous version. You are allowed to become someone the people around you do not immediately recognize. You are allowed to say yes to what God is calling you toward, even when the people who love you most do not yet understand the yes. You are allowed to protect what the Father is building in you, even when protecting it requires disappointing people who expected access to you. You are allowed to let this season end without manufacturing grief for what was completed rather than lost. You are allowed to be genuinely expectant about what is ahead without guilt for no longer mourning what is behind. You are allowed to take up the full space that was designed for you in the next room. You are allowed to arrive. This is not self-permission. This is the permission of heaven, and it has been waiting here for you. There is something I told you I would come back to, and the moment has come. In the years of stagnation that a long, confined, misaligned season produces inside a human being, something happens at the level of the brain itself, not as a spiritual metaphor and not as a vague claim. Something measurable, documented, and proven by research that was awarded the Nobel Prize. Most people, when they hear what I am about to share, will let it arrive and then let it go. They will receive the information and move on. But you are not most people. You are still here. You are still asking why the gap between who you know yourself to be and what you have actually been able to access feels so consistently wide. That question, the one that will not let you settle for the life you have been living, is the question of someone who was built for more than the percentage of their capacity they have been living in. And what you are about to hear was built for exactly that question. In 1981, a scientist named Dr. Roger Sperry received the Nobel Prize for his research on the two hemispheres of the human brain. What he discovered changed everything understood about human cognitive potential. The left hemisphere processes logic, language, and linear reasoning. The right hemisphere processes creativity, intuition, spatial awareness, and the kind of perception most people call spiritual sensitivity. When these two hemispheres operate in full synchrony, state researchers began calling whole brain activation human beings access a level of clarity, creativity, and cognitive power that most adults have not experienced since early childhood. Here is the statistic that changes how you understand everything you have been feeling. 98% of children test at creative genius level. The unfiltered curiosity, the whole brain openness that allows a child to learn languages with ease, to solve problems with original thinking, to hold multiple possibilities without forcing a single answer. Almost every child has this. By adulthood, fewer than 1 in 1,000 still operate at that level. What happened to the rest? Not aging, suppression, repeated stress, education systems and environments that rewarded narrow processing and gradually disconnected the hemispheres from each other. The synchrony faded, and the longer the disconnection persists, the more you feel it. The creative restlessness with no outlet, the sense of being slower than you once were, the fogginess that has settled where clarity used to live, the feeling that something important is just slightly out of reach no matter how hard you reach for it. That is not a character flaw, that is a neural state, and neural states can change. I want to share something with you. There was a woman in Manhattan whose family had carried a belief for generations that they were born under the wrong star. That difficulty was simply their inheritance, not a season, but a permanent condition written into the family line. Her father gave 22 years to a company with deep loyalty and real skill. The week his promotion was finally announced, the company closed. It confirmed what the family already believed. Some people are chosen for abundance, Some are not. She found an 8-minute audio through the research of a neuroscientist, not because she believed it would change anything, because she had tried everything else and had nothing left to lose. Within a matter of weeks, something shifted, and it shifted first in her mind. The fog she had normalized began to clear. Connections she had not been able to make started arriving with ease. An insight she contributed in a meeting solved a problem that had stopped her entire team for months. A promotion followed. A relationship she had believed was permanently closed began to reopen. Differently than before, better than it had been. She said afterward that the family curse was gone. And by that she did not mean a dramatic deliverance moment. She meant that the neural suppression passed down through generations, the suppressed whole brain access, the inherited sense of being under the wrong star, had been interrupted. And what came in to fill that space was the genius that was always hers, the God-given whole brain power that was hers at birth, and that she had simply never had a way to reclaim. What that audio did is the result of years of work by a team of neuroscientists led by a neurologist named Dr. Daniel Barone in New York City. They took the Nobel Prize-winning research of Dr. Roger Sperry and made it accessible, not through a machine that costs thousands of dollars, not through a meditation practice requiring years of training, not through anything that requires you to believe a particular thing before it begins to work. Through an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence that uses neural sync technology to reconnect the two hemispheres of your brain the way they were connected when you were a child operating at creative genius level. They call it the genius switch. It is not a brainwave track. It is not a meditation recording. It is something different in its mechanism and measurable in its effect. You put on headphones. You close your eyes. You listen for 8 minutes. The activation happens beneath conscious awareness, the way your heartbeat does not require your attention to function. And what tends to arrive in the days and weeks afterward is not a feeling, it is access. Access to the clarity, the creativity, the whole brain power that was always yours and has been suppressed for longer than you realized. I know what some of you are thinking. 8 minutes and something suppressed for decades changes. I had the same hesitation the first time I encountered this. Then I read the research. Dr. Roger Sperry, the man whose discovery Dr. Barone built this on, won the Nobel Prize in 1981 for proving what the synchronized hemispheres of the human brain can do. That is not a wellness claim. That is the most prestigious recognition in science given to a peer-reviewed body of work. What Dr. Barone and his team took that foundation and compressed 1 hour of clinical neural synchronization into 8 minutes that anyone can do at home. The mechanism is real. Whether it works specifically for you is precisely what the guarantee answers. Here is what I want you to understand about value. In-person neurofeedback sessions, which use comparable technology in a clinical environment, cost $300 per hour. An in-home neurofeedback machine costs $7,000. Dr. Barone was approached by major distributors who wanted to bring this to retail at a price that would have placed it out of reach for most people who need it. He declined. He removed the middleman and released the Genius Switch directly at a list price of $49, which is already more than 40% below what colleagues valued it at. And because you made it this far, there is an additional $10 off available for you today. The price on the page is $39. That includes 4 bonuses. A guided visualization from one of the top creators on the Calm app, a grocery guide identifying the 10 foods most damaging to whole brain function with affordable replacements, a classic text, more than 100 years old, at the origin of every modern manifestation method. and a 5 habits infographic for the wall of someone who takes their becoming seriously. All of it covered by a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee with no limits. One thing I need to say clearly, if you search YouTube or Spotify for anything labeled Genius Switch, Whole Brain Activation, or Neural Sync, you will find tracks. Dr. Barone and his team studied them. Most had no neural sync technology embedded at all. They were simply labeled with scientific-sounding names because those labels generate traffic and ad revenue. The sequence that took years to develop cannot be recreated from a label, and it is only available through Dr. Barone and his team directly, for the reason he explains himself on that page. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment below this video. 8 minutes, headphones, closed eyes. That is what he is asking for. And given the magnitude of the move God is calling you into, the question is not whether you can find 8 minutes a day. The question is whether you can afford to make the most important move of your life on a mind operating below its full capacity when you do not have to. Now, I want to give you something practical to carry into what comes next. Something that belongs not just to the understanding of this season, but to the act of responding to it. There is a practice I want to invite you into. I call it the empty chair decision, and it works differently from most decision-making tools because it does not ask you to predict the future. It asks you to access it through inversion. Find a chair in your space, an actual empty chair, and sit across from it. Then do something counterintuitive. Do not imagine your future self sitting in the chair looking at you. Instead, sit in the chair yourself and become that future self. You are 10 years forward. The move has been made. The season concluded. The next chapter fully entered and lived. And you are looking back across time at the person sitting where you are sitting right now. What does that version of you see? What do they wish the person looking back at them would understand sooner? What is the one thing they would say, with the full knowledge of how everything unfolded, that they most wish had been received on a day exactly like today? Write it down, whatever comes, one line or a full page. Then read it back, not in the voice of someone still asking for permission, but in the voice of someone who already knows how the story goes. Do this for 7 days, every day, in whatever quiet you can find, not as ritual, as compass calibration. The compass of a chosen one does not run on certainty. It runs on alignment. And this practice helps you distinguish the voice of fear from the voice of what is actually true. And alongside that practice, begin speaking something over yourself daily, not because words function as magic, but because the words you speak most consistently about yourself are the words you eventually believe about yourself, and the words you believe become the architecture of the choices you make. Speak these, not as performance, as declaration from someone who has decided who they are. I am not behind. I am being prepared. I am not lost. I am in formation. I am not forgotten. I am being positioned, and I am ready for whatever the Father asks of me next. And as you step into what is next, remember that the Genius Switch is not a trick and it is not a shortcut. It is 8 minutes of audio activating the whole brain capacity that God placed in you before you were born. If something in this message stirred a knowing that you were made for more than what you have been accessing, those 8 minutes were built for exactly that knowing. Before the words end, I want to do something with you. Not for you, with you. Right now, in your mind, stand at the edge of something, not a cliff, a threshold. The kind that exists at the end of a hallway you have walked 100 times, and today you can see that the door at the far end of it is open. It was not open before. It is open now. And the light coming through it is different from any light you have seen in this hallway before, is warmer, more specific, as though it was calibrated for the particular contours of your face. You do not have to know what is on the other side. You only have to take one step toward it. Feel the floor beneath your feet as you take it. Feel the weight of who you have become, all of it. The grief and the growth, the faithfulness and the confusion, the losses that left marks and the love that built what the losses could not reach. Feel the full weight and know that you are carrying exactly the right amount. Nothing missing, nothing extra, nothing that does not belong to the person who was always going to be standing at this door. You were made for this threshold. It was built with your specific dimensions in mind. The width of it, the height of it, the quality of the light pouring through it, all of it was measured for you before the foundations of the world were laid. And all that is required right now is the one step that says you are willing. Let something settle in your bones. Not excitement, though excitement may come. Something quieter and more certain than excitement. The kind of knowing that does not need to announce itself. The kind that simply says, without decoration, yes, this is it. This is the moment, and I am ready. Take one real breath here, not a dramatic breath, just a breath that acknowledges you have been fully present for something real, and that presence itself is a form of faithfulness. There is one more thing I want you to know before the closing. You are not the first person to stand at this threshold. And what happened to the ones who crossed before you matters. There was someone whose story I have not been able to set aside, who 9 months ago stood at the edge of a complete professional collapse. A contract that had been the financial cornerstone of everything was cancelled without warning. With it went the confidence in the path and the belief that faithfulness was protection enough. They had a choice, emergency and scrambling, or the more difficult thing. They chose strategic stillness. They reduced everything to what was essential. They entered 40 days of deliberate inner reset, morning quiet, evening reflection, releasing what they had been holding by force rather than by grace. No public announcement of the struggle, no performance of faith for an audience, just a private daily commitment to let God rebuild from the inside out, in the silence where no one else was watching. On day 38 of that silence, a company they had never approached called them not the reverse. They had discovered work done quietly, without fanfare, during the season when no visible audience was present. They offered a contract double the size of the one that had been lost. Afterward, that person said something I have not been able to forget, that they proved themselves in silence before they promoted themselves in public, that the season of stillness was not a waiting room. It was a proving ground. And the promotion that came on the other side of it did not arrive in spite of the wilderness. It arrived because of what the wilderness built. That is the grammar of the chosen one. The proof comes first. The promotion follows. And the gap between the two is not wasted time. It is the time during which everything that matters is being built. And now the words begin to quiet. What was said has been said. What was planted has been planted. And before this message seals itself, there is one more thing to speak over you. Release. Release the version of yourself that has been holding the tent stakes of this season with both hands, exhausted from the grip and afraid of what happens when the hands let go. Release the need to understand every step before you commit your foot to the first one. Release the old story that said you were behind, that the window had closed, that the door would not open for someone who had waited this long. That story is not true. It was never true. Today, it ends. I hear the Father speaking over you right now, not in the thunderstorm, in the specific personal interior voice that arrives when he has something he needs to say to one person, and that person is you. And what he is saying is this: you were not placed in that wilderness to die there. You were placed there to become someone who could carry the next thing. and you have become that person. The formation is complete. The preparation is done. The season has concluded, and the Father is standing in your next place, looking back across the threshold at you, and his words carry the full weight of his name. Move, come forward. You have been faithful in the hidden things, and now you are being trusted with what is visible. Move. The ground ahead is already consecrated. The path has already been cleared. The provision has already been rerouted. The people who belong to your next chapter are already there, already being prepared, already carrying the language of the season you are entering. Move. Because the version of you that is needed in this world was built inside that wilderness, and the world cannot receive what you carry until you arrive. You are commissioned, not by the approval of anyone watching, not by favorable circumstances that finally confirm your direction, not by a feeling that eventually feels certain enough, by the word of a Father who has been watching every detail of your formation and who does not commission carelessly. Go with that. Let it be enough, because it is. The thermal is rising. The current of your next season is already moving in the unseen, ahead of you and beneath you at the same time. You do not have to manufacture the wind. You only have to spread your wings. And as you go, carry this with you. You are a chosen one, not as a label but as a function, not as an honor but as a deployment. And the genius that God placed in you before you were born, the whole brain power that the long years in the wilderness could not extinguish, it is being reactivated. Step by step, season by season, and you will understand, looking back, that the waiting was not wasted. Not a single day of it. Every day was building the person who would know what to do when the door finally opened. Go, chosen one. And as you go, remember this: you are not starting over. You are beginning. There is a space below this video where you can leave a response. I want to ask you to do something there, not as a box to check, but as a declaration, a first act of the new season you are stepping into. Type the number 444, just that. Nothing else needs to be said. In the language of divine signs, 444 is the message that the angels are with you in transition, that the movement you are stepping into is accompanied, covered, and confirmed from above. If you feel it, declare it. Type 444 below and let it stand as your yes to everything this word has been saying. If what you heard today stirred something real in you, press the like, not for a number on a video, because it is the gesture of someone who received something that mattered. And those gestures carry more weight than they appear to. And if you want to keep receiving what this channel carries, the words and the teachings and the messages sent specifically for people who are chosen ones in active formation, then subscribe. Not out of obligation, but because there is more being prepared, and you were not brought here for just one message,